Sometimes life's toughest storms are not outside of us, they're inside of us. They're not outside of us, they're inside of us. And today, I want to share with you how I stayed true to myself during life's toughest times, through the most challenging seasons of my life, how I continue to stay true. And I want to share with you 3 points. My name is Janville, and I am the founder of GSG Living. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to this video. I am going to take some time each week to share with you some principles, some tips, some tools, and just resources that has helped me through the seasons of my life. So I promise to be consistent and I promise to be intentional. And I want to share with you three things that kind of allowed me to get through seasons. As a woman, I've always wanted more. I definitely, as a young girl, I always wanted to be a teacher, and I grew up in a beautiful family of 5, the youngest of 3 girls, and I always had dreams of becoming a teacher, and being a wife and a mother were just roles that I assumed because I felt like that's what women did. And although I aspired for those and I had those roles and still have the role of being a mother, a friend, a daughter, a sister, whatever it is that life allows me to choose, there was the one thing about myself that I could not refuse, and that is myself. And that's what I want to invite you on the journey of not refusing who you are. I found myself refusing to be myself in the midst of other roles. So today, again, I want to share with you 3 ways that I stayed true to myself, honored myself, and during the toughest seasons of my life. The first thing I would say is I chose integrity over image. Choosing integrity over image is where I believe I would say I started, because it was me asking myself, Janville, what do you think? What do you want to do? And there's a quote around integrity. There's so many quotes out there. And one that I love is, integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking. Because an image is something that people see, but it's the things that we do behind closed doors. For me, I wanted to be intentional about that. Going to sleep with myself at night, that's the reputation that mattered most to me. And what do I mean by that? That's another quote where it says, the best reputation that we have is with ourselves. And when I went to sleep at night, I wanted to feel good. People would talk about taking sleeping pills or doing things to put themselves to sleep. And I understand. And again, on these conversations that I'm going to have, I don't want to step on toes, but I know I'm going to be saying some hard things, but they're my truths. They're not to hurt or offend anyone, but they're to hopefully inspire you to understand that there's a you inside of you that is more than capable and willing to do the work of becoming pure, to become who you are. And I believe the essence of who you are is pure and it's rooted in love. So choosing integrity over image sounded and felt like several things. So, we have all of our senses. What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? I like to tap into all my senses. In this particular, I would say point, which is choosing integrity over image, it felt, I really was intentional or have been intentional about feeling things, understanding that we have a nervous system and how we feel is real, but understanding that how I feel in this moment, where does it really come from? And when I wanted to do things that were very hard for me because it was against an image, because as a woman, I carried images, many, again, as women, we're born into this world, and these conversations are definitely for women. I'm intentional about helping women rise above in love because I believe in the toughest times in our life, we need each other. But in the midst of having other people around us, it is the things that we do when no one's around us that allows us to actually be inclusive, to be in community, and to rise. We cannot rise if we are being the weakest link in our own lives. I believe looking in my life, looking in the mirror and just saying, Janvier, what is true to you? Having the questions, I call them essential questions. What do you want to do in this moment? And how do you feel? And if it does not feel right, if I'm my gut or my intuition or my energy or things inside of me, just it's whatever it is for you, for me, it's the gut. I'm going to have this, butterflies. People call it, butterflies as in woo woo love. No, for me, it was butterfly and like, okay, Janvier, rise above that mess, rise above that conversation. This is not for you. The smiles are not there for you. It's not funny. So I was intentional about listening to my intuition. So I would say that choose integrity over image, whatever it's supposed to look like, that's fine. But how does it feel? How does it feel? And that's when you know it's real for you. The other thing I would say is let grief guide me through, let grit guide me through grief. You know, losing people in our lives It's hard. And grief is the loss of something. But I also, as I journey through this thing called life, I study grief. I think about grief. And for me, grief also is losing parts of myself. Staying true to myself in tough times, I would lose parts of my own self trying to, again, going back to that image or trying to be something that was not for me. And what I would do is show up with grit. When I talk about grit, style, and grace, which is what GSG stands for, it really is about showing up with grit, moving through this life with style and giving myself grace along with others. And so when I chose to show up, or when I still choose to show up with grit, for me, it's fitness. Fitness is therapeutic for me. Going to the gym is therapeutic for me. I do not skip the gym. It's been on my calendar since my 20s. I've shared that, and I'm in a new decade. But as women, we have to take care of our bodies. I think that's the foundation for self esteem. I truly believe that. And I'm talking beyond the mirror. I'm talking about a soul reflection that says, yes, this feels good. Yes, it may not feel good, but it is good for me. Going to the gym is gritty. It is showing up, understanding that we're not flexing muscles, but we are flexing muscles of the heart, the mind, these things that allow us to show up during the toughest times of our life. They say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I believe that is doing the things today that's going to give me the muscles of grit that I need for tomorrow. I really believe in that. How do I know? Because it's worked. It's worked for me in the toughest seasons of my life. I wasn't showing up at the gym like, oh, I got to get to the gym. I already had been going to the gym even when joy comes. Joy always comes in the morning. Don't forget that. Joy comes in the morning, but the truth is, even in the joyous times in life, I show up. In the tough times, I show up, because this thing is a lifestyle. And that's what GSG is about, my lifestyle, life living. And I always say, live intentionally full every day. That's what life means to me, to live intentionally full every day. So that second point I wanted to share with you is let grit guide you through grief. And that's really worked for me. So find something that's gritty. For me, I believe it is fitness. There are three, I call them the pillars of life, which is our relationships, our health, and our finances. And for me, if we look at our life and we look at those three, however you want to call them, pillars, cornerstones, but they all, I think the choices that we make fall in those three categories. And fitness is gritty. Our health is gritty. We don't want to have to, they say pay now so you don't have to pay later. It's so true. Pay now. Sacrifice now, do the hard things now, and we can pay through illness. And illness is not only in the form of, not eating well. It's, again, when life is tough, sitting in the bed. I give myself about 24 hours, and I had one the other day. I called my friend. I said it was 8 o'clock at night. I got up and went to the sauna because I know what it does for me. It is real, and it takes time to get to this space of where it becomes a lifestyle. But I promise you, show up, do something, go for a walk, connect with nature while you're walking. Go find your local gym. Go find a local class. I started in Zumba classes. I've started it. I've done P90X at home. I've pretty much tried it all. I've tried it all because I do get bored easily, but you got to find something because it works. Okay. So I would definitely say that grit for me is going to be fitness. It's fitness, cursing somebody out or giving somebody a piece of your mind. And those things, they don't work. They don't last. They're not sustainable. They may feel gritty. You may feel hard, but baby, there's nothing harder than understanding that you can show up intentionally by yourself for the highest form of health. And that truly is taking care of your mind and your heart in a very intentional space. And for me, again, that's fitness. And the third thing I want to share with you today is honoring my heart with grace. Honoring my heart with grace. I believe in the toughest time of my life, and excuse me, I'm congested, so I sound a little different. I'm taking some breaths here, but in the toughest times of my life, I had to honor my heart. And it has taken me years to think about what the heart space really is. When a baby is born, as a mother, I'm a mother of two. I have two daughters. And when children are born, the first thing we do when we go to find out the ultrasound, or should I say, the ultrasound, the first thing is the baby's heart beating. We don't say it's the mind beating. We say, no, is the baby heart beating? Can we see the heart? And that reminds me of how delicate, how powerful our heart is. And when we're working out, it's pumping blood. When we're having conversations, it's pumping. When we live and the things that we do every day, I love to put my hand over my heart. Sometimes I practice this with myself, with my students and people and clients that I work with. Put your hand over your heart. It calms me. It soothes me. It reminds me, Jeanville, in this moment, you're okay. You are alive. You are well. you are safe, you are loved. And I have to do this because for me, and there's more conversations around this, but today I want to talk about how to show up in the midst of adversity. These are some tools that I've used, but I was going to tap into and share, just allude to the inner child work, because for me, people call it the shadow work. It's so many different names, but for me, I call it inner child because I understand the wounds that I have as an adult. They came from my childhood, and it is not a knock against anyone. It is the truth of my journey. And I had to understand these things to understand who I am as a woman. So when I honor my heart, it's a place of grace. It's a space to say, Jeanville, you're doing okay. Fall, get back up. It's like when my parents did a great job of that. You fall, you get back, you get up, and they, you're okay. Let me go get a Band-Aid. Let me go get some, Neosporin, whatever it is to soothe you as a child. We have to do that as adults. We forget to do that. We're so hard on ourselves as adults. I was so hard on myself, especially as women, feeling like I needed to be all of the things. Well, my goodness, when I became or when I put myself in a space of grace, and that was intentional. Like, how does this work? I started listening to Louise Hay. I love her. I started listening to people who had a calm voice. To be very honest, I didn't grow up in a household that was it was chaotic in the way that we talk, and it's not a bad thing, but it's a real thing. Some people need a little chaos in their life because I feel like it is the gritty part of me, but understanding the things that don't serve you, because you can't be one thing all the time. We're not linear. There's layers to us. There's times in which I need to be gritty. There's times in which I need to be in peace and calmness. Although I believe peace is a constant presence. You can, be in the midst of chaos and still have peace. And that's what I want to remind you, is that in the midst, stay true to you, the essence of who you are. And I believe that is love. I know that is love. We're all born into this world to love, to give love, to be love, and most importantly, to receive it from others and ourselves. And sometimes that's hard to do. Sometimes that's hard to do depending on our childhood. And I'll definitely do some videos around my childhood and conversations. And again, all these conversations, it is me standing in the need. It is not about other people. It is me choosing to water the seeds within me choosing to do the work on myself. And that's when I was able to truly overcome and get to these type of conversations that I have with myself. And I just wanted to come and share them with you. So today, I hope that you found something that you can use in your journey of living, because I don't focus on one thing. I always wanted to be whole. I always wanted to have all the pieces to the puzzle of life. And for me, that is healthy relationships, healthy finances, and healthy mind and body, because I know this is my temple that carries me throughout the day. It is my altar. It is my sanctuary. It's the place that I go. It is the place that I'm able to grow, because if we're not growing, we are dead. And I do believe in dying daily. These conversations help me die daily to my own ego and the things that I think that I know, or the things that I know no longer serve me. So we're shedding, we're unfolding, and I'm just honored to be here with you. Again, my name is Jeanville. Please, if you found value in this conversation, like, subscribe, share with someone. I will show up here every Sunday. GSG Living is all about showing up with grit, moving through life with style, and giving yourself grace as well as others. It is a lifestyle, and it's rooted in love and it's led by truth. It's rooted in love and it's led by truth. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next week.